thank everyone for joining us here at this AED Superstore demo. Just a few notes that if you are calling in by phone, can you please just self-mute by pressing *6, and also just remain off camera as well. It'll just help the presentation run a little smoother. So just to do a few introductions, my name is Megan Pagano, and I am the product manager for our first aid and safety products. And then also on camera with me is Heidi Felix, who is the Vice President of Sales and Marketing for LifeVac. We're both super excited that you guys all joined us today. I can't wait for you guys to hear all the information Heidi's going to give you about LifeVac. I love this product. I think it's super cool, super innovative. She's going to really show you guys how it has already saved lives, how it continues to save lives. So before we jump into the presentation portion, there just are a few things I need to go over. First being that all attendees here are entered actually into a drawing for a chance to win a free LifeVac home kit. So we're going to be doing that drawing at the end of the presentation, just at random. So as long as you're still present, you have an opportunity to win a home kit. And then second, if you have any questions or comments during the presentation, just make sure you type them in the chat box, and we're going to be doing a Q&A section at the end of the presentation, and we'll make sure we get to your questions. So I think that's everything I needed to go over. So Heidi, I'm going to kick it over to you.
Thank you so much, Megan. Thanks so much for joining us today. I want to go over what is LifeVac. Not only is it the name of our company, but it is the only product that we sell. And it is a portable, non-invasive airway clearance device that's used to resuscitate a victim who is choking. If any of you in the crowd has ever had a situation where you have seen a choking emergency, experienced one, it is absolutely one of the scariest moments. So I'm going to go into a little bit more about LifeVac. Very proud to state that LifeVac is manufactured right here in the United States. I am sitting actually in our Hall of Saves at our headquarters in Long Island, outside of New York City, and our product is manufactured here. It is distributed logistically here, right from New York. So thanks so much again for joining us, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about our company. Here's a little history of LifeVac. Arthur Lee is the CEO of our company. He was a father who was retired. He was just ready to enjoy his life and do a little golfing like we all want to do when we retire. But Arthur went to go visit a friend in the hospital, and his friend had experienced a real tragedy. He watched a child die right in front of him in the emergency room. And he retold the story to Arthur that the emergency responders brought them, the family and this young 7-year-old boy in who was choking on a grape. And Arthur said, what did they do? Did they do the Heimlich? Did they do BLS? And they said everything was done. Everything, these doctors attended to him, all the emergency responders had attended to this boy, and they couldn't save him. And it had nothing to do with the fact that BLS, what we call basic life support, or the Heimlich, did not work. And Arthur just said, I couldn't sleep that night. As a father, I want to be able to save my child. And he had already gone through CPR training. And again, he said, I just did all my research. I searched the internet. There was nothing at all that would allow him as a father to take care of actually resuscitating his own child if, God forbid, his daughter Jackie was choking. So he decided he was going to invent his own product. And lo and behold, we have the LifeVac, which is a really remarkable device. One of the things that I have to say is, he worked diligently to get a patent approved. And the one thing about our product, which makes it very unique, is that we actually have a one-way valve. And that one-way valve allows the air, when you place and push down, it allows the air to vent out the side, and it will allow it a maximum velocity to actually suction out whatever the obstruction is. So again, think about a plunger and what you're using to extract from a drain. Think about exactly that's how we're using the LifeVac. We have been blessed to say that we've saved children up to adults from 3 days old to 97 years old. Behind me, you'll see the pictures of all the lives that we saved. This is what inspires me every single day. I'm surrounded by the faces of the people that have happy endings, where they use the LifeVac to save their loved one in a choking emergency. And our mission is to eliminate choking tragedies in the future. We have a mission coin about saving lives. So we want you to join us in our mission to save lives. So our mission is a big one. We want to save 1 million lives. And Arthur Lee, it was just incredible. We received this video from a mom in Florida who contacted us to let us know that she saved her child's life with LifeVac. And I want to play this video and show you, again, it's probably the scariest moment in a parent's life, right? So she's cleaning up after, giving her children a little snack, watch a little TV, and her 2 children are sitting there watching TV. She realizes her son's choking at this point. She kept her cool. She did say she was panicking. At this point, she wanted to remove her child from the high chair. And again, if you've ever had this happen to you, I had my own 2-year-old choke, and it's a very scary thing, even when you're trained in CPR. So she started to do what she was trained in BLS to do the back blows. In young infants, it's not a good idea to do abdominal thrusts, but she's trying whatever she can. At this point, she grabs her LifeVac and she takes it out of its case to make sure that she has the pediatric mask attached. And now at this point, she's telling her other little boy, who's of course panicking too. And she says, we need to call 911. At this point, she's again trying back blows again, just to make sure that she's done everything that she can. She then now places the mask on the child, one place, push and pull, and out comes the food that he was choking on. So really remarkable. She had this all captured on her own surveillance camera that she had installed for when her nanny comes to take care of her children. So it's incredible that she was actually able to, share this with us, and we got a chance to see this. This video went viral. There's millions of people who have seen this now, and so more and more people are aware of LifeVac. Again, this is a happy ending. We have heard more stories about sad endings, so we want to eliminate choking tragedies. It's the 4th leading cause of accidental death in children under the age of 14, and 1 child dying every 5 days is absolutely unacceptable. We are looking to eliminate this as one of the leading causes of death, also in the adult population. And so it's something that's important to point out, that we're taught when we are doing CPR training that do the abdominal thrusts, do the back blows. Never do they tell you it won't always work. Again, sometimes even a trained professional, it may not work. But in the person like us as parents and people who are lay people and not with a medical background, it only works about 50% of the time. So what do you do in that other 50% of the time? Sometimes also when abdominal thrusts are performed, it could cause damage. It could break a rib. It could puncture a lung if not done appropriately. Another thing that we're so passionate about, if you think about people who are disabled, even developmentally disabled, people who have Down syndrome, autism, cerebral palsy, they are highly likely to choke, unfortunately. And if they're in a wheelchair, there is no real choking protocol for somebody in a wheelchair. What do? Do you remove them from the wheelchair? God forbid something traumatic happens. Sometimes the time is of the essence. So we're looking at LifeVac as an alternate and an option in a choking emergency, especially for people who are disabled. It is really the best option, and especially when protocol fails, because we have heard and saw in that video that the basic life support may not work. So what LifeVac does is it simulates what your body wants to do naturally. When you have an airway obstruction, you typically cough, right? If you've ever swallowed something, choked on something, your body automatically wants to cough out that obstruction. If you have a full airway obstruction, you cannot cough. You have no ability to get air behind that. So what our one-way valve does, you push down, automatically vents the air out the side, and it gives you the ability to suction out that obstruction. We had a little boy who told the story about he was choking on broccoli. He was about 4 years old, and he said, I could feel it, Mommy, pull right out of my throat. And he wasn't scared. It wasn't something that, again, when he retold the story, he felt it, but it didn't feel scary. It wasn't anything that could cause any damage. And that's really probably one of the most important things. I get that question all the time. It absolutely has no adverse effects. You can push and pull as many times as you need to get the obstruction out. And another thing that always people ask us about is it effective? Is it affordable? Of course. That's one of the things that we did is we actually made this device never expire. We could have had an expiration date on it, but we didn't because we know that it will always work. The one thing that you may potentially have to change is your masks. The masks may deflate over time depending on the environmental conditions that they're kept in. So every 2 to 3 years, we tell everybody, check your masks, make sure that you don't need a replacement. One of the other things that is a beautiful thing, LifeVac will replace everybody who saves any person in their family, anybody. We also had a police officer who saved someone. We will replace the unit that they use to save someone's life. All they have to do is report it to us. So another thing that is really important is that we're up to 152 lives saved, and that's all across the world. We have, in every single instance, taken a clinical report, and we've asked people who have saved their loved one, what did you do? Did you go through the basic life support? Did you do the Heimlich? Did you do the back lows? And we ask them to retell their story and share a picture, which is then the pictures that you see behind me of all the lives that we've saved. It's simple, it's effective, it's non-invasive. Very important point. In the world we live in today, we've all kind of become accustomed to masks, but this is a very simple mask, and it isn't invasive. It will be always portable. There is no power that's necessary, so you can take it with you on the go wherever you need to. We're really looking to implement LifeVac in all schools. If you think about where children spend their days, so we want to implement it in schools, preschools, as well as the first responders. It's really important to get it into their hands. Police officers, firefighters, all the people that are on the ambulance crews. And near and dear to me, assisted living and nursing care facilities. I have a mother with dementia, and unfortunately, she's had a couple choking incidents. And that's something that we've taught her how to use it on herself. Because in the pandemic, unfortunately, a lot of people were kind of confined to their rooms. So again, very important to us that we cover everyone. And again, it's really a household must-have. I think it should be in every business, in every school, and in every police and fire, ambulance, rescue crew. One of the things we've done to be able to raise awareness in our own state, which is where our company is headquartered, in New York State, we have an alliance with the PTA executive director. We contacted her because we wanted to get the word out there to the school districts. We knew that the PTAs is the way to go because a lot of the parents are very involved. And one of the things she told me was 2 stories of her choking personally. And she is an EMS fire chief up in Albany. She was in her firehouse and she started choking. And Heimlich did not work, and these are trained professionals. And she said, thank the Lord, they had the laryngoscope. They were able to extract the General Tso's chicken that had gotten embedded in her trachea. So she also had another instance where her own husband saved her. She taught him the Heimlich, and thank the Lord, it did work. However, because she's been through 2 choking emergencies and she knows how prevalent choking can happen to anyone at any time, she has been promoting and advocating for LifeVac in the New York State school districts. And we want to make that something that happens all throughout the United States. So we really need your help to raise awareness. Here's a demonstration of how to use the LifeVac. When I say it's simple and it's effective, this is a person who has an airway obstruction. Something's caught in the trachea. They're lying down. They could be potentially unconscious. So you want to tilt their head back just a bit. And you also want to place the LifeVac over the bridge of the nose. Make sure that you have a perfect seal. Push down and pull, and automatically the obstruction will be removed. Again, you can do it multiple times with no adverse effects. We actually have studies that have proven that our device is more effective than BLS in so many cases. 100% effective, and BLS worked about 71% of the time with trained professionals. Happy to share those studies with you as well. So everyone asks us, how do we sell the LifeVac? It's come in a couple different kits. The home kit is the most popular. It has an adult mask, a pediatric mask. So one device covers your whole family. It also includes a practice mask. Really important. I think practice makes perfect. So in an emergency, you know exactly what to do. It also comes with literature and instructions specifically about how to use the LifeVac. So those instructions and choking hazards, anything that you might need to know about the LifeVac is included with your home kit. We also have a travel kit for on the go for those parents who want to make sure that they have it with them when they're going to restaurants, perhaps throwing it into their diaper bag when they're going to the park or the beach. So these are important things. It has just a simple, nice, portable travel case as well. It only comes with the adult and the pediatric mask, not a practice mask, because it is meant to be a supplemental device. The EMS kit is actually for EMTs and first responders. It comes with an adult mask and a pediatric mask in a simple plastic bag with instructions. And we have many EMTs who are purchasing this for their own personal use. Just the other day, we had a fire chief who had responded to an emergency call with his he had heard it coming in on the 911. A parent of a 3-year-old had tried abdominal thrusts, had tried the Heimlich, nothing was working. So they had called 911. He came equipped with his very own LifeVac, and he was able to save that child. And that was in Alabama, so really thrilled to know that there was a happy ending to that story. The LifeVac School Kit is really equipped with 4 separate devices. 3 of them are EMS kits and 1 is a home kit. The home kit typically will be in the main office, and it has a practice mask in there to train the entire staff. The 3 EMS kits would be strategically located where food is being served. The cafeteria, of course, you would want 1 in the nurse's office, and in addition, the teacher's lounge or perhaps the phys ed office. And this is, again, really should be right next to those AED units. So we always tell them, look at your campus environment, look where the AEDs are placed, and LifeVac should be placed right next to them. Every school will be different based on the size of it. So that's it for my formal presentation. I know you probably have some questions, so I wanted to be able to answer those at this time.
Yep, thanks, Heidi. So just a reminder, everyone, if you do have any questions, now's the time to put those in the chat and we will get to them. We do have a few questions that have already come through. The first being, can you go over whether you should always use traditional Heimlich first and then use LifeVac if that doesn't work?
Sure. So international protocol is actually ILCOR kind of tells everyone exactly how they're supposed to follow protocol, especially in an emergency situation. And the American Heart Association, American Red Cross always suggests that you should use what we call the basic life support or the Heimlich, abdominal thrust and back blows in every instance. We have been working diligently to try to have LifeVac inserted into protocol as another option when BLS and the abdominal thrusts and back blows do not work. You don't want to leave it up to 911 or to chance, right? EMTs do their absolute best to respond to every emergency, but wouldn't it be better to have something like this on hand if, God forbid, BLS doesn't work? So we always say use abdominal thrust, back blows, and when it doesn't work, use LifeVac. In every instance of the 152 lives that we've saved, almost every single time they have tried using abdominal thrusts and back blows and they did not work. So again, this is another option, and that's the most politically correct answer that I can give you for that one.
Awesome. Okay. And then can you go over what is the difference between FDA registered and FDA approved?
Sure. So when we were bringing this to market, we actually applied to the FDA for registration. And you know, when you apply, it's not just for registration, but you want to make sure that all the studies and all the information and all the due diligence before you go to market is provided to the FDA. What they did is they came back to us and said, we're a non-invasive portable airway clearance device. We're what we consider a class 2 medical apparatus. So therefore, registration is all that's necessary with the FDA. We do not need to be FDA approved because we're not invasive like an EpiPen, which is inserting medication into somebody using a needle. Again, it's simply a mask and a plunger that's used to extract and clear an airway. Hope that answers your question.
Yes. And then can you go over whether the pediatric mask has an age range or weight range?
Okay, so its manufacturer's recommendation is 22 pounds and above, but some of the lives that we've saved have been very young infants. We actually saved a 3-day-old newborn. The parents were both EMTs. They had experience with when, unfortunately, BLS doesn't work. What they did is they purchased the LifeVac in order to save their older children who were, I believe, 3 and 5, and they ended up saving their 3-year-old infant who ended up choking on a mucus plug and vomiting. And the father, because he was an EMT, brilliantly used the LifeVac a little differently than we typically do. They compressed the unit like this, placed the mask over the baby's face, and were able to extract the mucus plug. Again, the recommendations is 22 pounds and above. So it's always going to depend on the physical size of that person, of that child. So I tell everybody, practice first using both masks. See which one fits more appropriately, because every child's face, every person grows at different rates. So it's not necessarily an age, but the weight range is typically 22 pounds and above for the pediatric mask. And then people ask me, when do you move to the adult mask? Make sure, again, you have the proper fit on the person before using it.
Okay. And then final question we have here is whether LifeVac can be used on oneself, or if you have any stories.
I have a lot of great stories, but one of the most recent stories was a father who was at his son's 7th birthday party. He started choking on steak. The wife tried Heimlich twice. It didn't work. And she was panicking. She said, oh my God, I have the LifeVac. She had just purchased it probably 2 weeks before. She decided to grab the LifeVac. She said she was panicking so much her husband grabbed it from her, assembled the unit while he was choking, and used it on himself. He had a very thick 6-inch beard and mustache. He was able to get the proper seal, and literally on the first push and pull, he was able to extract the piece of steak. So thank the Lord that was a happy ending, considering it was his son's 7th birthday.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I will tell you, it can be used on yourself, and I'd be happy to demonstrate it. And you can hear that. Unfortunately, sometimes other things come out with it as well. But the airway obstruction will come right up into the suction unit, and you will be able to save yourself in a choking emergency. Really good point for those people who live alone. There's a lot of older people, and even people like myself, you know, where your children are off at college. What do you do in that emergency? If you have a full airway obstruction, you cannot speak. How do you call 911? How do you communicate? So very important point for all those people who live alone. And it really is a household must-have for everyone.
Yep.
I think about it like a fire extinguisher, right? You know, we never want a fire to happen, but we equip our buildings with fire extinguishers and smoke alarms for that purpose. This is equipping us just in case of a choking emergency.
Awesome. All right. Well, that concludes our Q&A section. And now we're going to announce the winner of the LifeVac home kit. And the winner is Samir B. So congratulations. Please make sure you stay online. We're going to be sending you a private chat. So please check your chat box because we really need to get your information with your address so we can get that shipped out to you. Heidi, thank you again for all this really great information. I love the product. And on behalf of AED Superstore and the LifeVac team, we just want to thank you guys all again for joining today. And on the screen right now is contact information. If you have any questions, you can feel free to call us, email us, and we'll make sure we get back to you right away. So again, enjoy the rest of your day, and we hope you enjoyed this demo today.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it. Have a great day, everyone. God bless.
Bye.
Thanks, Heidi. Thanks, Megan.
Thank you so much.